Hello, my fellow board gamers, and welcome to the channel all about economic board games. Today, I bring you an overview of Space Lane Trader. Now, if you're after a run through, I'll be bringing you that video next week. And this is brought to us by Arctic Lynx Games, and the designer is Jesper Benalt. Now, this one plays a 1 to 8 players, says it takes about 90 to 150 minutes, and it's that medium complexity game. Now, there's a link in the description to the upcoming Kickstarter for this game as well. Now, what are we doing? We are captains competing across this solar system. We will have ships. We've got some miniatures here. They'll be going around these trade routes. We'll be going to planets trying to buy goods that they're selling. We'll be then hopping to other planets to sell them goods. We'll be looking at the demand and hoping to get better multipliers. So if we go after this particular good here, we can see it's ×2 at the moment. So you'll double your profits from selling, or not your profits, you'll double your revenue from selling that particular good. You'll be hopping to other planets, and as you go into planets, you'll be drawing event cards, and they'll have a host of goodies, baddies. You may also decide to go down the route of attacking other players, and you've got stats on your ships for attacking and defense. You can attain debris cards, which are up here, and there's a host of goodies, or you may take cargo from other players. Now, in terms of the sequence of play, the first thing you will be doing is determining turn order at the bottom here. So it'll be based on the size of your ship. So at the beginning, you kind of both have these cargo transporters. So it then is based on who has the least money, and they will be first up. If you do happen to have a bigger ship, then you're probably going to not be going first. So you determine turn order. The second thing is the first player will be doing their actions, and you can do kind of as many actions as you want until you've got nothing left to do. With the exception of 2 actions, you've got freight and you have got training, which you can only do that action on a turn. So this reference sheet is great. You can see sequence of plays. We've just gone through the turn order phase. You can see the actions at the bottom, 1 player at a time. So yeah, I'll go through some of these in a sec. You will then go to the upkeep phase, where you remove some cards, you add some more tokens to the board, and you advance the demand. So I'll kind of go through that as well. This reference sheet is excellent, folks. It tells you all the resources, where you can go to buy them, where you can go to sell them. I've kind of put these white tokens on there to show that they're out of use in this sort of 2-player setup. And you can also see, let's say you take plants to this one, if the demand is 1.5, so it does all the maths and hard work for you, whereas that's a ×2 for 36 there. Now, I should say this is the kind of pre-Kickstarter prototype preview type copy, so it might not be the final thing you'll see after the Kickstarter. I've been told that, you know, things like these boards here, they'll be sort of inlays so they don't fall over, same as on the demand. Some of the ships might differ in the quality of cards and the money as well, but to be honest, I think it's an excellent production already so far. So yeah, just bear that in mind as I show you this overview. So that's kind of how the turns are going to flow, and you just keep going back and forth. You do the turn order, 1 player does their actions, then it goes to the next player based on here, then you do the upkeep phase, and then you keep going until 1 player. You've got a variation, so let's say in your starting game you go up to 500,000 credits. You race back to this once you've got that amount of money. You get there, you win the game, and that is literally it. You're trying to accumulate wealth, money, profits as you trade all these goods and be the best trader across the galaxy here. So what are those actions and how are you going to be transporting that? So you start off with these ships. You've got a choice of either of these 2 cargo transporters. I've kind of done alternate for each of these players, and it looks quite complex, but really you're just looking at these stats. You've got your speed, which is the movement you can go across. I'll demonstrate in a minute. You attack if you want to attack other players, defense, and your cargo. So this particular ship name is here. You've got some certain special rules. In this case, it can land on 2 different planets in 1 turn. It can go 4 spots, but it's slower, but it can carry more cargo, as this ship here has 8 speed but can only carry 2, and this can only enter 1 planet on your turn. And equally, you can see on the side sort of what upgrades you can do to anything in red. You can't upgrade because it's fast enough already here, whereas this one you can have loads of upgrades. So some of the places on the board, you've got icons like your marketplace here, some spanners, so when you go there you can do an action to actually purchase equipment from those available up here, and you can see kind of you have to match the symbol to the relevant planet you've gone on to be able to purchase it. The cost, this cargo load computer, +1 cargo, which is great. Speed though is -1 because you're heavy, but you also also going to have to bear in mind there's an energy consumption cost and a weight load cost. So as you bolt these onto your ships, let's say on this one, you're going to have to move up this energy, and you've got a max of 10, and then you've got max weight capacity for adding those upgrades. But if you decide to go to this one spot on this particular board here, you can purchase a new ship, and you can see this one here, you got the cargo carrier. The cost is 150,000 credits, but look how much capacity you've got, and look how much cargo, 6 cargo, and you got speed of 6. And on the reverse is one of the other types of ships, the freighters, which you can see again, you've got more capacity. So are you going to reinvest your hard-earned profits into better gear, better ships to traverse and go around these planets to get more cargo and sell it quicker? Or are you just going to eke out the profits and try and go for the win without really reinvesting it? So some of the movements then, well, some of the actions, should I say, one of them is training. So literally you go to a planet that has this symbol here, and for your whole turn, other than defending, if you get attacked, you get 4 XP, and that is that's your whole turn. 4 XP to develop your characters. Now, there's a host of characters in the game. You get to draft from 2 at the beginning. I've got one here, Pirate Captain. Some great description. And throughout the whole game, there's a whole universe to this, a whole solar system. There's politics, there's different characters, the whole universe. And great description. I'm not going to go through it here, but essentially you're looking for how much credit you start with. Certain special actions there. You turn it over once you've read those. And you can see this player here on the reverse of the scientist. Now, every character will have the same top 3 levels, so piloting, combat and trade. And if that kind of focuses, you can see as you get more XP from visiting various planets and showing cards, you can bolster these up, and when you hit a certain number, you get the benefit that is depicted on it just above. So number 1 there, in combat you get to take a defense or attack token. I'll go through those in a minute. If you decide to focus on trade, you can see, you know, at number 1 we get you 10,000 more money. I love the trade at number 4 because you get to turn. You may treat low demand market event cards as high ones, and I'll go through that in a minute. So that's kind of how you can better your characters, and there's a host of characters there as well. So where were we? We were moving, weren't we? I think we were moving. So we were looking at, let's just give you a demonstration. And so, no, we were training. Yes, training is one action, and you can only do it there on that spot unless certain characters, in this case the scientist, can break that if you get to certain XP. Next thing you could do is the freight action, which is kind of only what you really want to do when you're struggling for money and you maybe got debts. That's literally, you stay on a planet, you get 30,000 bucks, end of your go. So the other stuff you can do, movement. Let's say these guys are up and there, what are they, blue? They've got a speed of 4. So you look for the blue ship, and they're going to move along these trade routes here. So 1, that's 1 movement. Skip a planet, you don't have to pay a movement. We go 2 to go there. They want to enter this planet. 3 to enter a planet. Boom. That's 3. They've got 1 left to do. They could now buy something. So these guys are selling wood at 9k, or if the blue player wanted to sell theirs, because basically look at it from the planet's perspective. This planet want to sell you wood, exotic wood at 9k, and they want to buy off you plants at 18k. So let's just say you came here to buy exotic wood. You want to buy these 2 here. Now, important decision time. You paid the 18k for those. Are you going to buy a permit because you're good and you don't want to get busted by the authorities? And in terms of permits, they look like these. You match the relevant symbol because you can see all the cubes in the game are neutral white, so you kind of need something to depict what they are. So you put them on this trade route, but there's a cost for being good and having this trade route and not getting busted by the authorities. If you purchase it in a green planet, and you can see the whole solar system has got green ones and yellow ones. Green ones are going to cost you, well, not cost you, but if you were at a green place, it's going to cost you 3,000 credits to buy a trade route of whichever resource you want. But if you're in a yellow planet, which is slightly more riskier, you're going to have to pay 7,000. And are you going to take this trade route permit? Because that 3,000 or 7,000 is coming out of your profits, but you don't want to get busted when you reveal an event card, which I've just realised I've forgotten to show you straight away. So let's just say we buy the trade route, we bought the goods, we put them on here, we pay 3,000 for this trade route permit, we've paid the, 18,000 for that, yep, and we are good. We've purchased goods. But if you decided you didn't want to pay for that trade route permit, you can smuggle them goods. And you take one of these circular tokens, which kind of just represents the good, you put them on here instead, and you are hoping as you travel across the solar system, you're not going to get busted by one of these event cards. Because if you reveal this one, you can see trader in a good mood and opportunity. So you kind of, it's got some nice descriptions here, but you kind of just read in the bold for a quick intro as to what it does. You know, you can see buy goods with 1,000 discount at this station. But if this red symbol comes up, that player, you know, in this case the Blues, are going to lose all of these smuggled goods. You may have robbed them from another player who did combat, which I'll go through, or you may have purchased them, so you've lost that value. So are you going to get a trade route, which is, I've hidden it now, or are you going to smuggle them? You also get 1 XP when you reveal these cards, and you can bump up your stats on here. So I've kind of done it in the wrong order there. As you enter a planet, the first thing you do is take an event card. Green for green planets and yellow for yellow planets. And the yellow ones are slightly riskier. There's more damage can be done in there, and you know it's more extreme because the authorities of this solar system are highly regulated and functioning in the green planets. But as you venture to the outer ones, the yellow, there's potentially more risk. So let's reverse. We've gone back into the planet. We've took the event card. In this case, we've carried out this. We've got rid of any smuggled goods. You then do your actions. So we're buying, in this case, wood. We've bought the wood, and we've still got 1 movement. So we have to figure out where are we going to go with our cargo container, with our goods, and try and trade it for a profit. And this is where the reference sheet comes in real handy. So we're looking at, what was it, exotic wood, and you can see it there. This is where you're buying it from. We can go to these 2 locations and sell it at those prices, and it also gives you that nice indicator in terms of the ×2 based on what the demand is in the market. So let's say we go to this one, Pro Shop. We look at the board, we can see it's all the way at the top here. So you've got the name of the planet, and as I said, the arrows help depict what they're selling and what they're buying, and you can see the production value there. So to get there, we're going to spend our 1 more movement to go here. We are pretty much done because we've got no more movement. We've bought stuff. We're on our way to sell stuff. We are done. It passes over to red. Red then are thinking, right, I want to go and cause some trouble. I'm here. I've got a movement of 8, and I'm going to go and attack. So they go 1. They're on the same spot. You can be on the same spot and not declare attack, but they're going to declare an attack. So reds, look at their attack value, 10. They add up any of these little tokens they've got, which they haven't. They've only got a defend one. They add up any upgrades they've got, and you can see when you purchase these, you know, if you've acquired this one, attack, +5, great stuff. But in this case, they've only got 10. The other player defending gets 9. They add on any of these, let's just assume they did. You both showcase how many you're going to do. You reveal it. Now, when you defend, you can have as many as you want. When you attack, you can only have 1. So 4 plus the 9, 13. Versus just the 10, they're regretting it. Each player rolls a dice, a spot of luck, but it just kind of keeps things interesting. You add those values as well. If the attacker has more than the players defending, they win. So basically whoever wins out of that combat is going to get a choice of either stealing 2 cargo from the opponent, so they may be able to steal this hard-earned cargo you've worked for, or they get 2 debris cards. And at the top here, we've got a whole pile of these. You take 2, and there's some great things. You might acquire diamonds, and when you get to a planet, you can sell these as long as you can fit it in your ship. You can see sometimes, in this case, there's no requirement to spend energy or weight. Neither is that one. Let me try and demonstrate one. You can see this one's got a weight limit of 2 and 2 energy. So you could use this to either load it on your cargo ship if there's space, get it to a planet and sell it for this value here, or you might actually decide to increase and upgrade your attack capabilities. And I think this one actually lets you attack on a planet, because normally you can only attack players on these lane routes. So that was attacking them. What else have we got? We've kind of shown you buying. Let's go and sell something. So the blue players then, let's just assume, you know, they've got enough movement on the later turn. They've come up all the way to here and they're going to sell. You can see the value on the board. Exotic wood is going to sell for 25k, but look at the particular planet, look at the demand board. You can see demand board up there. Procyon wood is, yes, it's poor. It's at 1 at the moment. Let's just lie and assuming it was at 2. So what you do is multiply that 25k for that good. It's in high demand, so it's times 2. It's 50k per good. You're going to sell those, and when you sell something, the demand then goes all the way back to 1 because, you know, that population, they don't really want wood anymore at that planet. You've made your money, you get your money from the bank, you put those 2 resources back into the supply at the top, and you literally kind of rinse and repeat. You go and buy more goods. Maybe you want to buy more goods from here, and then you go transport them again off to the next planet that's looking to buy them. Now, there's a slight caveat. As you do the upkeep phase, which I'll kind of go through now, so let's just summarize here. You've done the turn order phase, blue's then done their actions, red's done their actions, upkeep phase. What you're going to do, and it says it all on this reference sheet. You are going to, if that focuses, add cargo cubes to planets. So we've kind of demonstrated that. You can see, let's just say this planet here, you're going to add 1 of 4. So there's 2 spaces, you just add in the 1, you don't just fill it to the max unless it was that case. And if you went for an upkeep on a future round, you literally add in 1 of 4 again, so it's happened to fill it. If it was empty, you literally add in 1 of 4. So pretty straightforward, you just add 1 of 4 in that particular planet. You remove the rightmost 2 equipment cards, boom, you remove 2 of them and you bring some more out. Next thing you do is advance the demand markers, and then finally you advance the turn marker step, which is just at the bottom. So advancing the demand then. This is great. All these go up 1, potentially, and that's kind of what I'm going to go on to next. If it's already on number 6, it could, that someone else has been competitive and met the demand, and it goes all the way back to 1. So you kind of have to be timely as to when you are going to meet the demand of what planets are after and supply them with those goods. So that's the round, but there is the caveat I mentioned. And as you go to a planet and reveal an event card, sometimes these market events come out and you've got low demand and high demand. And besides affecting the market, there's some extra actions you can do as well, which I won't go through, but it depicts it all on there. So if a low demand comes out, you have to set that particular resource, oil in this case, down to level 1 straight away. If high demand comes out, you have to increase it to 6, and these stay there until these cards are removed, and the ones that have been out the longest get shifted first, and you bring new ones out as they get revealed from the deck. So those have a massive impact on what demand stays where. So let's just say that wood, you know, for all the wood, all the places do wood, if it was a high demand, it would stay on 6. So when you sell, it doesn't budge down to 1, it stays on 6. So you can manipulate again and again until that market card has gone. Equally low demand keeps, you know, say plants all at 1, and you're like, oh, come on, I want to shift these for a profit. And maybe you've gone down that route, you've got your trade route in plants, you're like, oh, I can't catch a break here. So that's a little bit about how that manipulates the market as well. Have I missed any actions? Let's just have a look at the sequence of play. So we have done moving, we've done attacking, we've done buying, we've done selling, and it says there as well, lower demand after delivery. Buy ship equipment, I've kind of gone through, and you have to go to the repair facility in the market, buy new ships, and then trade permits, and then you go to the upkeep phase, and that is it, folks. You pretty much get that 500k, or in a longer game, I think it's 750, you bomb over to the solar system, and you take glory. Now there is different boards, I believe. You can see at the bottom here we've got the sector Terra, so there's Vega, Omega, etc. You've got things like black holes on the other side on different ones. Player counts, folks, 128, insane. So a host of goodness here. Check out the Kickstarter link and definitely have a look at this one, folks. Enjoy.